Ladies and gentlemen, show after show on Sportswire Radio, champion after champion talks about they're the best, they're the greatest. But Friday night, and some would say the weekend has started, or maybe it's already started, but you can't say you're the best, you can't say you're the greatest until you bring on the man that time and time again has not only continued to be that workhorse champion, whether it's in the yard, the underground, the indies, or the pros, he decimates his opponents. And I'm going to talk about a couple of his prior opponents coming up here shortly and maybe talk about maybe the biggest event in the yard and the underground to date. And it's going to be called Endgame, the Alliance Wrestling League's latest show. It's going to take place 2 weeks from tomorrow, and it's got some banger of a matches here. And we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about another person who I literally, just about an hour and 15 minutes ago, almost like timed it, literally wrestled in another state that actually wrestles in the Alliance Wrestling League. And he's going to talk about that, our guest. And he's also going to talk about, I am sure a lot in whatever he'd like to say, because after all, he is figuratively and literally the kingpin. And look at this man, what he has done as the inaugural AWL champion and the current AWL champion. There is no man that can measure up with him. And that's why it would not be a week. It would not even be a weekend to start on prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, for the man that I would have to say over the past year has maybe dressed the best of any champion that's come on Sportswire Radio. After all, I mean, he would even make Flair blush these days. Well, after all, let's not even go there about Flair's own trouble, especially that roasted pizza place. But let's, ladies and gentlemen, give him that introduction, because after all, so many of his peers I see right now are in the chat, and so many else are out there waiting for it. After all, he is a Hall of Famer, and he wants me to give him that championship-like introduction. So let's do it. Let's kick the night off in style on Sportswire Radio, where figuratively and literally all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, the reigning, defending Alliance Wrestling League heavyweight champion of the world. Simply put, his name is the Kingpin ADT. The champ is here. Champ,
how are we doing today? I'm
How am
doing
I
fine,
doing?
actually. I'm actually in a very nice state of bliss right now as we approach Endgame in 2 weeks from now. Feeling a lot better, losing a lot of weight, so I'm sorry if I seem a little drained, but got to be in top
Maybe
shape
it's the
for.
heat where you are, because it all of a sudden got really
Yeah.
humid here in New York,
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous here. I'm just glad that Tilly hasn't put me on the show here in a while, which we won't talk about that. But
Well,
sometimes I
actually,
just got to interject myself.
has it been that long? I feel like it's been, 2 months? Usually it's 3, 4 months. Actually, you've been here actually a few times this year. I think more than last year already. So, I mean,
It's a weird change of pace, going from being the most active person on the roster to the person that gets chased the most on the roster, across multiple rosters too, because a lot of people like to say my name, but
Well,
I'm
mean,
not Joe
obviously,
Henry, so I'm not appearing in any of those shitholes.
we've seen the relationships that you guys have fostered in ROEW, and certainly over in Resurrection Wrestling and D'Angelo the Flame. And shout out to the boys in NEW with their Underground Riot in the Ring, which might have been the best, like, just straight up wrestling show I've seen to date. I mean, all these guys, all these pros, all these different guys come together. It was Doc Holliday was in it, just in GTS, wrestled there for the hardcore title. I mean, D'Angelo's there, Leonidas. I mean, they had D Savage. I mean, this guy looks like he's dripping wet muscle. And, Tyson Spade, Jake Matthews, of course, best on the card, Hall of Famer here, won the most championships of any Hall of Fame. Just what a great show, what a kick-ass show. And that might be the best underground real I think I've ever seen. But we've got Endgame coming up, which might be the best thing that we've seen in the Alliance Wrestling League's history. Of course it's going to be, because we know that Gold Rush drew 1,000 plus views already. And I'm certainly going to talk about Endgame in a little while. Maybe say the coincidence. Did you guys name it after a Megadeth album? Because Megadeth has an album called Endgame, but I'll certainly leave that for a little while. That was a good line. But you're a busy man. I got to ask you, because I was reminded when I announced you a little over 2 hours ago that the last time we spoke about a guy, A.J. Morgan. A.J. Morgan, supposed to be the professional, and he talked about what seemed to be is that he had this injury, this fractured hand, it seemed it was, and he talked about that he wasn't 100%, and he said he was going to return at Endgame coming up here in 2 weeks from tomorrow. But after what you did to him, ADT, I mean, my question would be is, are we going to be planning maybe a funeral or a retirement ceremony instead for him on June 29th, or what? For those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters.
We see, Tom, the thing is about AJ Morgan is, he was a little too confident, a little too arrogant, which I'm a man who can appreciate someone believing their own bullshit. But that being said, you can't go around here making these, promises that you just can't keep. He forgot that there's a bullseye on his back. He wanted to walk out of the Black Flag Army. He wanted to lose the Black Flag Army, the AWL Heavyweight Championship. He wanted to just do everything on his own. And while I can appreciate a man trying to go on and make a name for himself, there's a brotherhood here. We had all the gold. Now we have 2/3 of the gold, but nonetheless, we are not, what's the word? We're not stable at the moment. Me and Dylan, we're handling our business as well as we can. So we thought, hell, AJ, you want to go out there, you want to face Travis Hunt, a man who has really proven his worth here recently in the Alliance Wrestling League. Go ahead. That's what all good champions do. But then he lost. And I don't know about you, sometimes you just got to cut the weakest link out.
Well, didn't I not ask you 2 months ago, was he kind of the weak link? Was he the dead weight? Because we know your pedigree. Dylan's a war criminal, so I'm not even going to bark up that tree. But, we think about, we've known each other a year. You've come on here, I think it's 5 or 6 times officially at this point. I'm sure Tilly will fact check me later, because Tilly's always listening to Sportswire and always reminding me. In fact, Tilly was even dancing with me last week when we had a DJ, Andrew Love. That tells you, Tilly, and we're not even going to go there with that. But, when you think about it, I had asked that question, and you think about your track record, right? You think about what Dylan has done, and even outside the ring. I go back to it, even though he was a champion here, even though, he's done things in the indies. Yeah, all those different things. But was he always the weak link in the Black Flag Army?
Not to... Every blind squirrel finds a nut eventually, Tom. And that's just, I think that's the scenario that we found ourselves in when it came to AJ becoming the AWL Heavyweight Champion. And unfortunately for him, or well, I should say fortunately for him, he had a good group of guys backing him. I mean, you have myself, you have his brother, Dylan Andrews, and I mean, it was just a good team. It was a good thing going, but he had to fuck it up. He had to get greedy. And again, going back on what we started off with, the whole reason why I attacked him is because he doesn't deserve that moment. He doesn't deserve to make it to the 1 year anniversary. He fucked it all up. That's just the key points of it. He wanted to be the best. He reached the top of the mountain. He got greedy and started to go, oh, you want a title shot? Come on out. You want a title shot? Go ahead, come out. Nobody had to work for it. How many times have I wrestled since I've had this AWL Heavyweight Championship?
Oh, my goodness. We've known each other a year. And I want to say, what is it, 52 weeks in a year? I want to say, what have you wrestled either as a champion on AWL TV, 15 to 20 times? That's pretty fair, right? Something like that. Because I've watched a lot of your work. I think it's like you've wrestled more than a dozen times. I mean, I'm sure Tilly will fact check me on that, but it's been more than a dozen times. Find me somebody that's wrestled either as a champion or on TV that many times. I'm pretty sure it's more than a dozen times.
But the other thing is too, Tom, is I'm not foolish, okay? I'm not allowing just any Tom, Dick, and Harry run through and get a title shot immediately, especially a title as prestigious as the Alliance Wrestling League heavyweight title. New division, that's a different story. That's the workhorse title. You got to make sure that that name value stays
And I'm
there.
going to ask you some questions on that probably later on, because we had CT Matlock here, and I'll probably get into that. But, it just, like you said, he got greedy. But I even go back from the very beginnings. There was always, to me, you and Dylan seemed to be, from a philosophical standpoint, always seemed to be more aligned than with Morgan, because Morgan even had problems with his brother months back last year. I always say that maybe he was the guy that he just couldn't measure up to you guys, figuratively and literally.
I'd argue the fact that me and Dylan are more brothers than AJ and Dylan are brothers. I mean, this man slept on my couch when he was fresh out of the army, lost his home. We're not going to dig into that. But point is, he was doing war criminal activities, got him. We started living together. There was a lot of time there. We went to the gym together every day, 5 a.m, no matter rain, no sleep, no energy, no nothing. We'd go to the gym. We started working out. And this entire time, he's known his brother ever since he was born, of course. But, in the short time of 15 years, give or take, me and Dylan have become brothers. And, that's why I heard Dylan out on the idea of bringing AJ into the Black Flag Army to begin with, because I thought with the camaraderie there and obviously them being blood relatives, maybe he'd come around to see, what we could offer him. And also, we were also hoping to make a return on our investment there. And that didn't play out the way that it was going to.
Well, if you're following what's going on in the economy, it's very hard to, as certainly somebody, I can speak for this, very
True
hard
to that.
Make a return on investments. I'm still waiting for my mutual fund to finally break even again, but no one's going to feel sorry for me. But let me ask you then a different question, though, because I'm going to pull up the video here. I'm going to pull up some of the things he said. We're going to get into that shortly. But do you have, first time, I understand what you said. You were here, we spoke about. But the second time he came out, we're going to show the footage shortly here for those that are listening and watching. You feel, did you go too far?
No, not at all. I mean, if anything, it's a long time coming. That should have happened months ago. And the only reason it didn't was because of the fact that, out of respect for Dylan, I don't know, I understand on his point of view, it's his family.
But you're a killer. You don't feel sorry for anybody. You've been here and you talked about Jack Delta when we had the ROEW, AWL thing. You've gone back and forth with your cousin CJ Black. We know the beef with Jason Storm. You're not a man that doesn't really have sympathy for many people.
To say that, I'm one of those guys who, tries to hear all options out. No, it's a shoot first, ask questions later, because there's certain situations that you can't hesitate on. And I hesitated on this moment for a very, very, very long time, because if we're being honest,
why did you hesitate?
Mainly because of Dylan. I understand that they're brothers, and family's important to me. So I tried to hear him out. But when you can start to see the weakness forming and the insecurities building, and, you see a guy who went from, literally worked his way up from the bottom to get to the top, became new division champion, started picking off names one by one, challenged Christopher James, one who would argue one of the best in Alliance Wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. What a match he put on with Victor Thorne. I want to get into that, because you're facing Christopher James in 2 weeks. I mean, what a match, by the way. We're going to certainly show that footage, but I think it's a good time now, actually, before I do that, to actually show the footage. I want to say hello to one of my very, very biggest supporters out there, who was telling me he was listening. He doesn't want to comment, but he's listening. He's watching this right now. My very dear friend, Mr. Luke Leyland. Of course, Mr. Luke Leyland is important because he's the only person outside of Africa to have competed in Dambe. He did that back in January, and he was a wrestler once upon a time. In another life, he was trained by the great Dean Allmark, who obviously wrestled in TNA Impact Wrestling once upon a time, maybe the greatest independent British wrestler in history. And he obviously is very impressed with you. He told me to say that you look great. You look like a champion, and maybe you could compete in Dambe alongside him. And Luke is obviously the most viewed interview in my history. So I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge him. And he's also a Hall of Famer alongside you. But I think let's roll the tape. Let's roll what he had to say, Mr. Morgan, and then we'll certainly see what you did afterwards for those that have not seen it.
The other day I went to the doctor, and I have a fracture right there in my bone. Thanks to people like Victor Thorne, whatever his tag partner was, some dude I faced in Hansville, Alabama. Doctor said I'm out for a while.
No. Cash. Oh, man. You hate to hear
I
that.
don't want to worry anybody.
Yeah, you really do.
Because I can announce right now that my return to AWL will be at in-game 2024.
Well, that's good news.
Anniversary of AWL.
Interesting. That's a very quick
AJ
recovery.
Morgan will be back in this ring 100%.
100. Oh, no. Cash, no.
Oh my God.
No. What the hell is this?
What the hell is going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the AWL heavyweight champion, ADT, a former leader of the Black Flag Army, the group that AJ Morgan was in. These two men have not been seen out here. Oh my God. Go for it. What the hell is that?
What the hell did I just see?
What the hell was that?
What the hell did I just see?
Where the hell is everyone?
I don't. What the hell is going on?
You know, that was a work in progress for a little bit, but God almighty, we really cleaned that one up.
Did whatever the hell he just did.
Did that shit at Spark.
I mean,
You gotta skip to the good part, Tom.
there's always. Oh my goodness, man.
Jesus.
And just attacking.
Oh
Where
my
the hell
God.
is
What's
the
about to happen,
wrestling
ladies and
roster?
gentlemen, all I can say is what you're about to see.
And just attacking the
Did not
arm,
try this at
the
home.
injured
That's all I'm
arm
gonna
of
say.
AJ Morgan. No, what the hell is he doing?
And you can see the pain on AJ's face. He is in so much pain because. Yeah.
I don't like that look, Cash. I don't like that look that he.
Neither do I. So
Where the hell is everyone?
Someone needs to get out here and stop this.
Referees, Tilly, anyone?
Did everybody take a fucking PTO day?
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, you can't do that. He's not gonna. He's injured, you piece of shit.
Jesus.
Do not try
just
this at
attack-
home,
come
kids.
on.
Do not try this at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, you hate to see that. Oh my God, I can't believe what the hell is going on right now. ADT just attacking AJ Morgan after Morgan announced that he's injured. He's going to be on the shelf for a while, saying that he's going to. What the hell is he doing?
We need some serious medical.
I don't know how
attention
long
What
that's
is
going to. He said liar, Cash.
Huh.
The hell is he talking about?
I don't know.
here.
I don't know.
Medical help here. Somebody.
One would
somebody
assume now
get a
that
doctor. Somebody get an EMT. Serious.
Endgame might be out of the question for AJ Morgan, but nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, the number one.
Train. We'll pull this off and we'll come back to some more links. But okay, we'll get to comments shortly. We'll be joined in progress in about 2 minutes on the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page and the Pride Wrestling Federation YouTube pages shortly. But after watching that, how do you feel?
Feel amazing. I mean, wasn't that the greatest thing you ever seen in your life? I mean, who the hell actually thought that they were going to be injured and then go, oh, my arm hurts. Doctor said I got a crack right here. And now I'm going to be 100%. And I'm going to come out in front of a live 300 arena, probably the most people will see in a very, very long time. But nonetheless, I'm going to come back and be 100% for you guys. Wrong. Why the hell would you even think that, dude? Knowing the target that you painted on your back from day one, dude. You have always been a pain in my side, and now that we're finally disbanded as Black Flag Army, you think you just managed to get out of my sight? No.
Do you regret ever having him in the Black Flag Army?
At some points, yes. There could have been numerous people that could have made that jump, and it would have played out tremendously. You know why? Because they would have actually sat there, listened, and done what they were told. But then again, he got greedy. He got to the top. I mean, hell, Tom, look at it. He was nothing before he joined the Black Flag Army.
I remember talking about it the first time you came on, and it was just like, you know, he was having problems with his brother as well. I mean, you know, this was somebody that, you know, like you said, was at the bottom of the food chain, more or less.
And the thing is, too, is like we were talking about, we provided him results. He was a new division champion. He was a heavyweight champion. And he did fuck all with it. He pissed it away.
He squandered
and for what reasons? Because me personally, I think of this title and I think of the world. I know the spotlight that comes with this. I know the pressure that comes with this. I know that reasons like this where I'm on this show with you because people want to see what the hell we bring to the table.
A lot of people tuned in right now. I got like 20 people on YouTube. I didn't even go into my other channels yet. And I mean, even how many people want to talk to you right now.
And even going back to the time that, you know, Morgan was on this show, Tom, he was here for 20 minutes. His brother came in, intervened, and he ran off like a little bitch.
That's a good point as well. I mean, people still talk about that. That was about 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
He's a runner. Sure. He runs from all of his problems. He wants everything handed to him. He's still a child at heart, for Christ's sakes. But you can't help everyone. You just can't.
Well, what I've been saying the last week, champ, is that you can't certainly lead the horse to water if it don't want to drink. And we're actually now officially live on the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page, which has nearly 1,300 subscribers on YouTube, and the PWF Extra YouTube page, which also is a part of almost 600 subscribers. And if you want to follow the Alliance Wrestling League, you can do that here on Instagram. It's got a whole bunch of different links. You can actually see what's ahead coming up here at Endgame. And you got the poster coming up here. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's a free pro wrestling event. Doors open at 12:30 p.m. at Central Standard Time, because I'm in New York. I'm the knucklehead that would say, it's 12:30 Eastern time. You know, it's funny because we speak with everybody all over the world. I have to ask people all the time, what time zone are you in again? What time zone? So I want to make sure we have that clear. That's also at the Gadsden Mall in beautiful Gadsden, Alabama. I love Alabama.
Easy on the beautiful. Easy on the beautiful. You must have not have, you know. You know, easy on the beautiful. I mean, it's Gadsden, so you know that's why I'm from nice, sunny Panama City Beach, Florida, right there.
Well, lucky you. Congratulations. But I would like to say hello to all the great people in Alabama that do support us out there, especially from the Alliance Wrestling League. And you have the poster here. You're going to see some great matches ahead, including this here, which we'll get to shortly. But let me come back and get to a lot of comments because a lot of people would like to say hello. Zilla has almost become like the resident commenter on Sportswire, and Zilla just says hi to everybody and supports no matter what. So we'll just say hello, Zilla, to all the comments, and thank you so much for tuning in as always. Dylan Andrews, of course, your brother in the Once Upon a Time Black Flag Army, says me too about what with Mr. Morgan. Want to say hello to Chase Sullivan. How you doing, Chase? Good to see you in a while from our friends over in Tennessee from the Underground Wrestling Alliance, who had Final Destination 3 a few weeks ago. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Want to say hello to one of my other great buddies from the great state of Tennessee, Shane Davids, who I'm going to see probably in about less than 2 hours from now, because he's going to be here with Alan Michaels, and we're going to probably talk about, I don't know what else in the wrestling world, but good to see you, my brother Chase, and also Shane. Jake Matthews, biggest event in the Underground Riot in the Ring is definitely it's the biggest event. There's no question that and Endgame are the biggest events right now. In my mind, for the month of June, it's Riot in the Ring and Endgame, and maybe in history, Riot in the Ring and Endgame might be there neck and neck. But he does say hello, and he kind of has a chuckle. You'll probably chuckle at this because actually, you know, since we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, which I'm actually getting close, I'm going to get an NEW Underground Wrestling tattoo. So I'm almost there. I'm about 270 away. So who would have guessed? When we spoke a year ago, You were just starting out. I think I might have had like 200 subscribers on YouTube. You're just about at 500. I'm just about at 750. So we're getting to some big places. And hello to my buddy, Mr. D Savage, who, by the way, is going to be wrestling people on Endgame, D'Angelo the Flame. And I'll get to him in a little while. And D Savage is actually going to be here in your chair 11 days from now. And he's going to be talking about D'Angelo the Flame. So we'll see if D'Angelo the Flame makes it there. Alabama, if D Savage has something to say to it. And the boys in NEW are killing it. They are doing a great job. Also, Chase wants to say, ADT, I want to apologize for using your theme as a one-off. Need counting worms for FD3.
Yeah, just you can buy a couple things off my merch store and we'll call it even.
That's a good. Well, I'm going to put that link up
because God forbid we go to start making claims about people stealing theme songs again. God forbid.
Well, we all know that. Listen, AWL is on my team, so at the end of the day, I can assure you, I'll take the heat for you. So how about that?
Hey,
no, really.
The only thing is that if you have a crowd or if anyone's watching and they hear that music hit and that dog barking, then they're going to expect me. So they're going to be very disappointed when they see you walk out. But nonetheless.
Well, that certainly could be a topic for another conversation, but I do want to say it is so good to have ADT back. It is so good to have Chase Sullivan back in the comments, and he was here on Sportswire Radio a couple of weeks ago. So there he is. I will get to him because anytime I speak about him, the bat signal goes up, but we'll certainly come back to him. Dylan Andrews says, LaFlame, go home. I don't think he's going home. He never goes anywhere. Does he live? I don't think he has like a place to live because he wrestles in so many promotions. So I literally don't think he can go home because he wrestles in so many places. So that's a good question. I think he even says, I don't know where's home. There you go. See, we're all in good fun, good spirits right now. Want to say hello to the boogeyman, Omen Black, ADT, my man. How's it going, brother? Obviously, two big men to another. It's Omen's show, and Chase gave a felt LOL. That was funny. You're damn right. We're handling business, business. Thank you.
Business.
Yeah,
business.
I was trying to. That's my 18 lights in the background. My little brother. Speaking of somebody you shared a locker room with, sort of, Jacob Collins, who apparently, by the way, isn't cleared to wrestle. So the good news is you don't have to worry about Jacob Collins for a while.
I would never worry about Jacob Collins. I would never. Did you see what Victor Thorne did to him? Did you see? I mean, everyone else saw what he did. I mean, hell, everyone thought that he died, for fuck's sake. There's no world, no realm of possibility where I am ever threatened or worried about someone like Jacob Collins, a man who took 6 other people to claim a ROEW championship just to get it stripped the next fucking week. I've seen Jason do a lot of dumb stuff, but the best thing he's ever done was take that title off of Jacob Collins. It was beautiful. I loved every second of it. Loved every second of it.
That Jacob, again, is now not cleared to wrestle, and he's got his own, issues to compete. So, I mean, and my buddy Big Man Cam has certainly been giving him problems also, and he seems to be aligned with Mr. Storm and Mr. Black, but I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole topic for another conversation at a time. But good to see Jacob and hope that he's recovering well, I suppose. Let's say also from Dylan that he agreed with you that you didn't go far enough. Really? You feel you didn't go? Do you still feel that way? You didn't go far enough?
I still feel that way, Tom. I mean, like I said, there was months of dealing with that little shit. And, man, I don't know. It could just be me. It's like when you walk into your house and you see someone sitting in your chair. You know what I mean? Your chair, your favorite chair.
Yeah.
And seeing someone else walk around calling themselves the heavyweight champion, it doesn't sit well with me, especially when I know that they're just not on my caliber. They're just not. He can say, oh, I'm professionally trained. I'm the professional AJ Morgan. Motherfucker, shut up. Shut up. You were a referee for fucking 3 months when you started calling yourself the professional. Fuck off.
Well, you know what? Mr. LaFlame liked something I said. I don't know what it was, but I do want to say hello to Mr. Hillbilly Tilly, who is our general manager in the Alliance Wrestling. And I have to ask the question now. You're obviously making all these waves. You go out there and you do what you did to Morgan. I haven't even talked about Christopher James yet. But, I mean, what does it say, though, about Tilly and Sky Felton that they allowed Morgan to be brutally beaten in the way he was, and there was no help, no medical attention, nothing. I mean, do you think
who's going to come out there to try to stop me?
They could have at least had medical officials. Could there have at least been some type of at least to help
and
AJ
endanger
Morgan?
other people.
Well,
No,
I mean,
when you see when someone's in the crosshair, Tom, it doesn't matter how many people I
isn't
got to
their
go
job
through.
though supposed to be to protect the well-being
It
of
might
the?
be, but I don't know if you've noticed Tilly's track record. He does a pretty
I
shitty
know
job
it's
at
been
doing
mixed.
anything.
It's
So
been mixed at best. I mean, obviously, I still would have said though, especially a man with an injury.
no,
I mean, again, we can certainly it's obviously it's a moot point.
Tilly's
Zilla
a smart man in the sense of he did not intervene and did not endanger other people. I mean, would you rather lose 10 plus people or one person that's already on the bench? So wins and
we'll
losses
never know.
there.
We'll never know the answer to it because there was no help at all or no medical attention for AJ Morgan. I don't even know if AJ Morgan right now is in a coma right now. I don't know if AJ Morgan is in a hospital bed somewhere where he basically is so hurt to the point that he might not even be able to get out of the hospital. I don't know if he's in a rehab facility right now. I mean, there's a lot of questions right now with AJ Morgan. I do agree with you on one thing. I will agree with you on this. The Kingpin, Mr. ADT, of course, the AWL champion, maybe the most dominant backyard underground wrestling champion we see currently in the scene, is that if I were AJ Morgan, I would probably not show up to Endgame. I would probably
No, it'd
not
be a
show
smart
up.
bet. Because if I even see him as far as near the exit doors in 300 Arena, I'm dragging his ass out and doing the exact same thing. I don't care. Like, it's on site every single time I see Morgan now.
Do you think that he will show up for whatever reason?
He wouldn't. I mean, I don't know what the hell happened. Shit, once the cameras went off, I don't know what the hell happened. I got in my car and went fucking back home.
Well, you're the champion. You did what you had to do. There was no
business as usual. Actually, scratch that. I did come back because then there was a nice little face-off at the end between.
Maybe actually,
but the point is I don't know what the hell happened to him.
If you went home and you saw Christopher James had beat Victor Thorne in a mild upset, and you decided maybe you wanted to get back into your car and kind of see Mr. James firsthand. So no, I got you.
Luckily for me, it's not that far of a drive, so it's amazing.
Because some people like D'Angelo LaFlame probably have to fly to go to their homes, but it's a good thing that you don't have to. But speaking of people, you're obviously brethren, your family member in the state of Michigan, Mr. CJ Black, the good guy, who, unlike you, seems to have a lot of problems these days in his company, whereas you seem to have no problems of any real significance. Seeing Jacob Collins' comment is hilarious. He's doing his best to be tough and fight through yet another head injury. You got to wear your walking around your helmet everywhere now, pal. He reminds me of like one of those movies. I'm trying to think of the movie where they got like hit in the head with the football and then they like had to put a helmet on permanent. I forget one of these comedy movies. He's almost becoming a comedic act there, but we want to say hello to the 7-star superstar. I'm sure Copper Dragon will rate one of your matches, and maybe you'll get 7 stars next. But then again, you decimate everybody on your roster. That why just rate 7 stars or 6.9? And because
I'm gonna be honest with you, Tom, getting star rateds are very overrated, very fucking overrated. I'm one of those guys. I don't care who thinks, because wrestling is objective. A match that might be good to you might not be a match that's good to me. A match that's good to me might not be a match that's good for you.
Gonna be real for
so
a
it's
second,
all subjective.
If we're gonna be real for a second, that's why I do say all wrestling matters, because there's different strokes for different folks. So I mean, everybody has something that they bring to the table. But speaking of champions that would like to say something to you, this time from the state of Michigan, he is none other than the now outsider Jack Delta with new hair, and he's about to wrestle JX next week.
Yeah. He's Mayor of Flavortown himself.
Just got home from work. Can't wait to see ADT roast some idiots for an hour straight. So he did give you some. He was happy.
Good old
to see
baby
you.
Jack Delta. Baby driver Delta.
Well,
now that he changed his hair, I mean,
do you like the hair? By the way, do you like the new color? What do you think on the almost Street Fighter?
Man. I don't know. Street Fighter's fucking pushing it first and foremost. I mean, I was the first one. I was the first one that started pumping out memes like almost immediately after that shit happened. So nobody can beat me on that shit.
And I'm not going to argue
always
with you.
Ready.
And also, he does say, though, good to see. I love the ROEW AWL mingling. I mean, I think I mentioned it on Tuesday's show, and I was saying, no, AWL works with ROEW. We see them here. I mean, I don't,
well, you see, that's another thing too, Tom. There's a lot of people who will get pissed off when we don't want to cooperate with their shit product. There's a reason that Tilly and Sky Felton made it to where there's an agreement between AWL and ROEW. There's a reason why they're only pulling talent like D'Angelo LaFlame.
And Resurrection guys have praised you on here. I get the Resi guys on here. There's a good relationship there. I mean, I think that what you guys have done is you guys are doing what you feel is best for what's your brand. Everybody's different. Obviously, there is, different rungs. But I think from what I see, I think you guys are doing a great job. The product, certainly viewership is up. Subscribership is up. You guys are in the arena. Also, Spartan Wrestling, you have that relationship there with them where guys are learning. Guys are getting the ability to learn and train and, do the things to keep them safe and learn to obviously have a great career in the long run. So I think there's a lot of positives. And I think Tilly has been a great front man here with this platform. So, I always say to me that AWL has been a great player with Sportswire Radio. And I am always going to back AWL up because all the guys come here and watch these shows anyway. So to me, you can't win them all, but I think you guys are winning a lot. And I think that's why you guys are here. And I'm very excited about Endgame. And shout outs to you guys working with ROEW. And shout out to you guys for working with Resurrection Wrestling. And Ronnie Brady praised you guys also the other day, by the way. Ronnie praised the relationship you guys have with them. And I appreciate Ronnie and I appreciate Sky Felton and Hillbilly Tilly. Don't worry, CJ. We're far from done. When I'm back, there will be hell to pay. But as far as I know,
he says as he's, in a wheelchair currently. We love to see it.
I was going to say, from what I know, at least from the medical update from James Taylor.
He has a good little, fucking Stephen Hawking's keypad on the side of it that he's texting from. Hopefully he's not going to any islands here soon. But nonetheless, Jacob, just shut the hell up. Jacob, just shut the hell up, okay?
It's going to be a while. Also, Jack wanted to say hello to Dylan. The war criminal keep growing. AWL keep kicking ass. That's exactly my point. I that's basically what I said in a more complex tone. You ride the same bus as Jacob Collins. I'm not going there. I am definitely not going there with that. All be aside, haters gonna hate like real deal Jessica Biel. But is anybody these days? I mean, Jessica Biel, is she still married to Justin Timberlake? I would love to know. Inquiring minds would love to know. Is she still married to Justin Timberlake? Because he did have his own problems. Speaking of haters, I mean, he's dealing with a lot of haters these days. But yes, I'm pumped for Endgame as well. That's why I have the poster up so we can support the AW. I'm very glad. I watch every AWL show, and I hope you do as well. And I'm very excited about what I'm about to speak about next and can't wait to see the crowd. Yeah, you guys are killing it out there. I didn't realize Tilly was even awake. Yeah, he was here. We actually had a show with a DJ, and he came in, and he danced for a bit. The hell yeah was about the Springboard Sister Abigail. Yep, the Springboard Sister Abigail.
Did that shit at Spartan.
I don't even know how you pulled that off. When you did that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, though. That one isn't as clean as the one that I did. A lot of people know this. Tilly arranged a match.
Olympics? You came off the rope. You did like an acrobatic move, and you did the move, and it was like almost like this. It was like, seriously, are you training for the Olympics?
That's the thing, though, Tom. I've been training doing that move, trying to practice it. That one that was shown when I was attacking Morgan, that one was a little rusty, but I wasn't expecting him to come at me. I did a match for Spartan Pro Wrestling at their last event. Ironically enough, whenever Tilly has his hands in something, he has to mess with something. So, man, I don't even know if I'm cleared to say this, but
don't say it because on this platform,
I don't care. What the hell is he gonna do? What the hell is he gonna do? Tilly arranged a match for me and Christopher James to go one-on-one in front of a Spartan crowd. No tape, no nothing. As far as I'm concerned, all the video rights have went to Spartan Wrestling on that.
Okay.
The one that I hit him with there was beautiful, and you should have heard the way the crowd reacted for it. It was so beautiful. And I know CJ somewhere going, didn't happen, not on AWL, so fuck it. But point being is,
he's just saying it's not like me. I'm the 7-star superstar, and I had
if CJ tried to do some shit like that, he would probably break his entire forearm and be in the same boat as.
But to be fair,
AJ,
I don't think CJ would do something that he couldn't perform. He would. He would be smart enough to do what works, and that's a credit to him as a wrestler. Also, handspring before the wrestling critics get on my ass. Nobody's getting on your ass. You're on Sportswire, and we love the.
I got to figure out a name for that. Because that's too much stuff to type out right there.
Well, and you're not typing right now at the moment. ADT is making the same mistake countless opponents have made, overlooking me when I'm back. After I beat CJ Black in the middle of the ring, I'm coming for you, especially after what you did to AJ.
Oh my
let me ask
God.
you, okay, he's talking about coming after you. So from what I gather from that comment, does that mean that we're going to be seeing more of ROEW and AWL again? Are we seeing more of that again?
Here's the thing. If they want me on their show, they know how to get a hold of me. They know what buttons they got to push to get me there. The thing is, just like how this whole thing kind of started with me, the only reason I was there was to beat the shit out of Jason Storm. Okay? Because that was someone who took shit a little too far. I can applaud Jacob trying to be the hero, but he's not the fucking hero. He's not even the fucking sidekick. He's nothing more than just filler at this point. Here's the other thing too. I would go as far as saying fucking Jacob Collins isn't even as good as Alex Cross. All right, there's just nothing there to be seen.
You about that? I was going to ask you, do you put him in the category of the likes of Alex Cross?
If we're going on the tier list of ROEW,
yeah, I know you're going with this.
We're going right down to the bottom. Hell, we're not even on the same shelf as any of the other ROEW, talent that they have when it refers to Jacob Collins. There's nothing there to be impressed by. Nothing. Anytime Jacob Collins has ever had spotlight on him, he's gotten lucky numerous occasions. And he always says, you always count me out. You always count me out. Well, guess what? You had 5 motherfuckers to help you win a goddamn title. How many people have I had to help me win a title? I'll wait. None. So for him to try to start barking up this tree, bitch, you better go back quickly.
It's handspring, you idiot. Springboard is my thing, which I think we kind of confirmed. And Zilla said she loved the Jack Delta hair. We appreciate that. Why won't you let me go to the island? Jacob Collins, probably.
That's an inside joke right there. That's an inside joke.
I wouldn't know anything about that, but what I do know is I want to transition and talk about what's coming up here at Endgame. I've got the poster here. It's on the AWL Instagram page. Please support the Alliance Wrestling. It's AWL_wrestling on Instagram. And Christopher James, a man that scored a victory over Victor Thorne, who's wrestling D'Angelo the Flame. We'll certainly get to him in a little while. And I would say a mild upset and quite a match. And, this is a man that you've obviously seen before, but it's a man that really, in a lot of ways, mirrors D'Angelo the Flame in his style. It's a man that also mirrors him, and that he's had a lot of success recently. He's been up and down different scenes, different promotions, and it's a really... Maybe at this point, you're getting a different Christopher James. So talk to me about where we are going into Endgame 2 weeks from tomorrow.
And I hope so. Honestly, I really hope that I am getting a new Christopher James, because the last one was a bitch. The way that I would put it out is, Tom, I was on here promoting Retribution, I believe. And, that was one of the matches that was made, was me and Christopher James. And I beat him. And then Christopher James had to get Jason Storm involved, lost the title, long story short. Point is that Christopher James is a constant in my life as far as being a fucking pain. I've had to deal with him numerous times, even when we were children, doing it in the yard, to now where we're doing it on an indie level. And, I mean, hell, he just can't let me have fucking one thing. Just one. Okay, I understand he's the fan favorite. He might be the top, baby face, whatever the hell, if we're breaking kayfabe here, whatever. He's great. Let's go ahead and put him there. He's in a league of his own. But he's still not me. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and I backed it up on numerous occasions. People he's beat, I've beat in a better fashion. I've beat him. The only reason he had my shoulders on that mat for 3 seconds was because he had to get help.
At least,
and I don't mind, Christopher James working his way back up. We all love a good underdog story, don't we, people? But that's the thing. He's nothing more than an underdog. He's not built to be the champion. Yes, he's been going to Spartan Pro Wrestling. He's been doing shows flying as far as, North and South Carolina. He's been working the independent scene here in Alabama. That's cool,
that's
dude.
the point I wanted to make, because we had CT Matlock on, and CT's obviously been making his rounds. And Christopher James has also done that. I mean, he's really had an excellent run these past 4 or 5 months. And
I'm not gonna try to discredit anything the man has done, because I have the utmost respect for Christopher James. And that's one of the key differences between him and a lot of the people I face. I just don't like a lot of people that I go against. I'm not going to be a fool and try to underestimate what Christopher James brings to the table. The man was a new division champion. He was a heavyweight champion.
Absolutely.
And, he's been busting his ass, and he's the Iron Man of the Gold Rush Rumble, as they've been calling him.
Yep.
So, to say that I'm taking this lightly,
you think about it. I would say this much, as we're speaking with ADT, of course, who's the AWL heavyweight champion of the world. The Alliance Wrestling League will be back in action in 2 weeks from tomorrow at Endgame. It's their 1-year anniversary show, and it's their biggest to date. It's one of the bigger shows in the underground and backyard independent wrestling this year so far. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, where figuratively and literally all wrestling matters. There's a big difference, I think, between him and AJ Morgan, who we spoke about the first part of the show. And
absolutely.
AJ Morgan is a guy that, maybe in the right spot, right time, hung around the right players, maybe was greedy. But Christopher James has been resilient. In many ways, he's like a D'Angelo the Flame. He's got this energy about him. He's got this excitement, this likability, but he's also hung in there, and he's battled and battled and battled. And, this is the kind of match for a guy like him that you could maybe be caught napping here because of just what his abilities are and just everything. Well, talk to me about that. What do you think on that?
No, never. Okay, here's the thing about Christopher James. He has been improving on a rate that is fucking unremarkable, honestly.
I think he's the most improved talent on this roster. If I were to say he's the most improved, and we've been talking for a year, right? We've seen the roster expand. No question that this roster has made, if I could break the fourth wall, a lot of improvements. There is no question that this company and how far it's come. But I would say, for my money, again, what do I know? I watch a lot of wrestling. I would like to think that I have known a lot about this company over the past year. I think of all the wrestlers, he's made the biggest improvement.
And while I won't disagree with that, to say that I'm taking Christopher James lightly is false. I'm not. I wouldn't be putting myself through a training camp for Christopher James. You know how many people I've actually trained to wrestle? None. How many open challenges that I do when I was the new division champion? A lot. So the point is I'm taking Christopher James very seriously. And that's how I show my respect to him. Now, he's obviously been doing his own thing on the independent scene, like we've been talking about. He's been doing numerous things, wrestling with his father. Apparently, according to what I've heard from Hillbilly Tilly, apparently Tommy Dreamer has hand-selected Christopher James as an opponent at an indie show here in the near future.
Wow. I mean,
off of clips that he's seen on the internet. And as far as I can tell, the only time you can see Christopher James on the internet is watching AWL programming.
So that tells you, how about that? Now, obviously,
there's reach there. There's reach there. The crowd loves him. The people loves him.
I was even going to say, as somebody that is actually friends with a man that wrestled Tommy Dreamer, and of course, Jimmy Controversy. And Jimmy Controversy's been around a long time in GTS and other places, to the fact that Tommy Dreamer handpicked a guy like Christopher James. I think that speaks a lot of volumes in the Alliance Wrestling League, and what not only this young man can do, but really what this company has done in terms of how far it comes. That speaks on behalf of Sky Felton and Hillbilly Tilly and everybody else out there. That's a major deal. Major deal.
And that's the thing too, Tom. Like, to get back on, how I'm looking at this matchup between me and Christopher James at Endgame, it's very poetic. The way we start is the way we finish year one. Because, there's always a constant here with Christopher James and myself.
You and him battled early on.
It's good, evil, and people want to see it. They see one top guy, myself.
Is he your biggest rival then?
Oh, absolutely. I put him above, anyone. Hillbilly Tilly, Luke Miller, Clay Pierce, anyone.
I think your cousin actually would like to claim Hillbilly Tilly as his biggest rival still.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Now he's not in a position to wrestle. I don't think Tilly could last in a ring. I don't think he could. And the first person that would love to test that out would be myself. So if Tilly ever decides to put up the nice little jacket and his new shirt, come on out.
I think he's too busy.
Let's see what we can
dancing
do in the ring.
I think he's too busy dancing on Sportswire with me to
Well,
actually
let's hope
do
that his dancing's a lot better than his wrestling, because I mean,
good
hell, he was on the
question.
back burner for a long, long time,
He
and it
certainly
would be
was.
embarrassing for him to step into the ring with me.
But obviously, you came back, you turned the car around, you made a U-turn, and you've returned here. And obviously, we see what the world has been waiting for. It's the year rivalry that's been on and off, and we see you come in there. And
I mean, let's just go ahead and put it out there, Tom. I have it right here on my desk. I mean, you don't win match of the year and feud of the year without me and Christopher James. It's just basic economics when it comes to business here in wrestling. There's always some guy who's a big bad brute, myself, and then there's a flashy person like Christopher James who does the high risk, makes you believe, makes you hope, and then you have me to cut it all down. That's exactly how this is going to happen. I'm looking forward to this match because now there's a wrong to right here. He beat me for this AWL Heavyweight Championship, but like I said, he did it with help. He did nothing with that title. Meanwhile, when anyone talks about this AWL Heavyweight Championship, they're not talking about any of the other three that have held this title. They're talking about the three letters in AWL that really matters.
And what if
ADT.
you always said ADT? Well, you used to say it. ADT is BYW. Let's be honest.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm stepping out of the backyard wrestling stuff. We ain't calling that. I'm not gonna go as far to say that Indy should be spelled ADT, but that's a different. I like just calling myself the Kingpin. That's exactly how this goes.
Kingpin's good, although I would have to come up with one more initial to match the four. I think it'd be difficult on the fly. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that Champ is spelled with 3 letters for a while now, and we put it on shirts and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, you win and you lose. Except for me, I only win.
Well, I mean, obviously, we're going to see if he goes out there and loses or wins, and this is where all you can find information related to the Alliance Wrestling. I
feel like we're glossing over something too, Tom, when it comes to that match. The stipulation for it.
I'm going to get to that next. Oh, I got you, because I actually mentioned it in announcing you.
I got you.
Before I do that, I wanted to make sure we keep all these links up on the screen. But, I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to say, this feud has been about a year in the making, give or take. We're just about at a year mark here in the Alliance Wrestling League. And as I had stated to introduce you to come back on the show a few hours ago on Instagram and Facebook, among a few other platforms, is that this is a last man standing match. And what I would gather from what you did to Mr. Morgan and even that little face-off where Mr. James ran away from you, I guess then what we'll be seeing coming up 2 weeks from now at Endgame and the 1-year anniversary show for the AWL is that Mr. Christopher James, he won't be standing much longer. This will be his last stand, figuratively and literally. Is that a fair statement for me to make?
Absolutely fair. That's a very fair assessment too to make because of the fact that, me and Christopher James, we faced off. We had the first ever, I think it was Backyard Rules match in AWO. And, I threw him through a table. I threw him into a fucking shed. I think, in the build up to that, I was throwing him damn near anywhere I could. Christopher James is one of those opponents that I always like because he's one of the people that I can say truly bring the best out of me. And this will be no different. The fact that it's a last man standing, of course, makes a hell of a difference because that means I don't have to just put him away for 10 seconds. I don't have to stop. And that's a dangerous thing to have. There's no limitations on me. That's a very damn dangerous thing to have.
Let me ask you, though, let's say, and I hate to do it because obviously you're the champion, I'm wearing your shirt, but let's be objective for a second. In his case, right, in a last man standing match, because we know he's a high flyer, we know he likes to take risk. Does that, in a sense, give him a shot here? Because if he hits one move off the top rope, he's able to kind of get you off your feet, that maybe that can give him the opening to find a way to win this match. Is that something that you'll be keeping an eye on here?
That's a part of all wrestling. It only takes one. It only takes one nice little Sister Abigail. It only takes one changing of the tides. It only takes one Superman punch. It only takes one frog splash. That's what makes this match interesting because there is a lot of animosity here. We're both gunning for that top spot. Unfortunately for him, I'm already there. Some may say that I lost some hunger here being the AWL heavyweight champion. That's very far from the case. I've been doing a lot of work as far as behind the scenes, as far as, trying to make leaps and bounds for this company.
I
Whether
say it
that's
all the time. What you've done is like
when it comes to paying the dues, I've done it. Hell, I was putting out flyers with my face on it today. And it was really weird having to tell people, hey, can we promote this wrestling show here? And that's what everyone does. Everyone tries to elevate this company.
Roman and Soldier do it. Jake Matthews and D Savage, they do it from NEW. Titan and TBW does it because they have such a reach. I mean, the guys in the UK do it. The Tribal Cheese and CCW does it. I think if you're not doing it, it's almost like, well,
you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues. And Christopher James has been doing a very good job.
I do it too. I put my business cards out there. I talk to people and shake hands. You got to do it. You got to do it.
And the thing is Christopher James has been doing a very good job at promoting AWL on the independent scene. Just like how CT Matlock does, just like how Victor Thorne does, just like how AJ Morgan did. But point is this is a match where, I'm not going to say I'm nervous. I'm not nervous at all. Like I started off saying, I'm in a very calm state. My training camp has been going very, very well for this match. I'm down a lot of pounds to the point that this chin's almost gone.
I was going to say, I mean, you're training for the last man because, it's a match that
it's a match that can go the distance, and you have to be expected to go. Christopher James is a man who, will be the first to tell you he likes pain. He welcomes it. The same thing goes for me.
He doesn't mind 20, 30 minutes in a match. He doesn't mind that. There are some guys you watch and, okay, 5 minutes in, 7 minutes. Listen, I'm gonna take a shot. It's nothing to do with you, but we had on the champion from ESW Shockwave last week. He was the champion, Austin G. And I watched one of his matches, and he literally ran around in the ring before he actually stepped foot in the ring for like 5 minutes and wrestled for 6 minutes. You guys, on the other hand, I mean, I'm expecting like this is going to be a match that's going to test both of your endurances. I'm expecting a match that a lot of people are going to be talking about around for a while. That's
what's amazing is that this entire event's free. People would pay for a match between me and Christopher James. Hell, people did pay for a match between me and Christopher James.
I pay tickets for shows all the time for companies that come on here. If it was a donation of $10 or something like that, I would have gave you guys a donation.
And that's the thing, though. We're all about just trying to grow AWL. So the fact that Sky Felton, while I don't agree with the decision to make it a free event, the point is people are going to want to watch this regardless. It's two of the best fighting for the crown, literally. King of the Yard versus the Kingpin. It's battle of the crown, and unfortunately for Chris, I don't see it playing out well for him. I just don't. The way I've been preparing for this match is by far tenfold the hardest thing I've done because I've had to push that cardio. I'll be the first to admit it, I gas out pretty quick. I'm one of those guys who hits you heavy on early on, and I might gas out middle of the match. That's not going to be a case here. That's not going to be the case. I'm going to take Christopher James to his absolute limit, and I'm going to beat him down in front of the 300 arena.
If I'm wrong, the new weight that you're at is maybe helping you for what we're gonna see here on June 29th. Is that another assessment then?
It's a very fair assessment. I think you're going to see the most evolved version of ADT in 2 weeks' time. I think you're going to see something that's going to take
you a lot. To say that's a big statement there from you. You know that.
It's going to be something that, like I said when I first posted the poster itself, get ready for another masterpiece because me and Chris, even though there's animosity there, there's respect, we know that we got to put on a show for the fans, and someone is not walking out of there. And someone is definitely not walking out of there with this AWL Heavyweight Championship.
Well, we're going to certainly find out. And again, that is Endgame itself. And you can obviously watch the show coming up here. It's at the, again, Gadsden Mall in Alabama. I'll still say it's in beautiful Gadsden, Alabama, because after all, I mean, I still want to support our people in Alabama. And it's a free program. Think about free, ladies and gentlemen. In this day and age, to show up somewhere for free and see some of the best talents around. I mean, you can't go wrong with this. And the doors open 12:30. I mean, this is almost just genius here. I mean, this is just I mean, and it's a great card to begin with. You got, CT Matlock and Hacksaw Brown. We've got, Seth Maverick and Tyson Gates. Dylan Andrews is going to be competing. I mean, you've got D'Angelo LaFlame and Victor Thorne. I mean, I think it's a great time to bring up D'Angelo LaFlame. Now, D'Angelo LaFlame, everybody is talking about. I don't even have to tell you at this point. Every time I'm on Sportswire Radio, everybody wants to talk about D'Angelo LaFlame. He was here last night, and he's already wrestling in Ohio with Summer Bash. Aaron Blaze, another traveling backyard underground darling, now wants a match with him. He's coming back to AW. Maybe it is his new home. We just saw him in TBW Anniversary 7. Some would say it was the greatest backyard underground wrestling show in history. He opened up the show with my buddy Alan Michaels, who's going to be here in about 90 minutes. They opened up the show at Anniversary 7. Nearly 3,500 people watched that. He was just wrestling at NEW's Underground Riot in the Ring. That might be the greatest pound-for-pound real underground backyard wrestling show in history. That's right. It might be pound for pound. He put on a match with Leonidas that easily could have been a main event in almost any promotion. And I think people are going to see what he does with D Savage. That might even top it. And you're going to see him here in the Alliance Wrestling League. And he's the Resurrection Wrestling's internet champion. And he's going up against the Bishop of Brutality, Victor Thorne. ADT, I got to be honest. I've watched D'Angelo LaFlame. He has wrestled a lot of top talents. He has wrestled with guys and wrestled against guys. It's a long list of people. He's wrestled. You can keep going down the list. Max Chaotic in TBW, a part of the Prophecy. Alan Michaels, my buddy. Just saw him against Leonidas. He's been here already, Twisted and AWL, and he was in the Rumble at Gold Rush. But this might be with Victor Thorne. If he gets through this, I mean, we'll see what's left of him for D Savage. But I mean, this could be his biggest test to date. I think if anybody, he's wrestled Neff in Resurrection. He's wrestled against Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis kid who was in the Hall of Fame, and Jack Spade, the icon. I mean, he's wrestled some of the big names in all these places, but Victor Thorne might be his toughest test coming up.
And that's the thing, too, Tom. You got to think he's facing a pissed off Victor Thorne who just lost a shot at this AWL Heavyweight Championship.
Absolutely.
It's been said numerous times on commentary, and hell, even, with his own stupid little manager he has. You don't just earn the moniker, or you don't just be given the Bishop of Brutality. That's earned. And I've seen a lot of good things out of Victor Thorne. Most of the good things was when he was beating the shit out of AJ Morgan. But Victor Thorne,
you did like,
and Jacob Collins. Jacob Collins, good catch on that one.
You're welcome.
Bishop of Brutality is exactly what Victor Thorne is. There's no disguising that. But also, too, D'Angelo LaFlame, man, it's going to sound very out of character for me, but he is an impressive talent. He's good in the ring. He's good behind the scenes. He's very level-headed individual.
People are saying right now that he's the one that's going to usurp Jack Delta. In fact, Jack Delta was here about a month ago and was like, everybody and their mother wants to challenge him, except you, because obviously you've been the history, let's not even go there. But the point is, everybody on this platform, I want a match with Jack Delta. Yeah, I want to wrestle Jack Delta. But Jack Delta, for the first time, he actually got serious. Said, yeah, you know what? D'Angelo LaFlame, this guy's trying to be me. But there's only one me. There's only one person that's gone out there and traveled. There's only one person that's been on this journey. And the point is, everybody's looking at D'Angelo LaFlame right now, and he's the guy right now that's basically everybody wants a shot at. Soldier GP is wrestling him. Soldier GP is wrestling him. And you know what? I got to be honest. D Savage and Soldier GP might have him coming up in Massachusetts and Ohio. But I got a feeling, ADT, if Victor Thorne has his way, I don't think D'Angelo LaFlame very well may make it to Massachusetts and to Ohio in Summer Bash and to Riot in the Ring Round 2.
See, that's the only thing that's missing from the D'Angelo LaFlame and Jack Delta comparison. Yes, D'Angelo has traveled a lot of places, but he hasn't been injured yet. So, this is the final piece to the pie there. Facing Victor Thorne, he can get injured and then he come back about 7 different times, and then next thing you know, he's Jack Delta. Look at that.
So you're saying that Victor Thorne is going to give a brutality.
That's that last stone to the gauntlet right there.
I see what you did there. You're very clever there, Mr. 80. That's why you're always clever here on Sportswire. But you're telling me is that Victor Thorne is going to basically give him a Bishop of Brutality-like beating so that Mr. LaFlame may not make it to Summer Bash or to Riot in the ring round 2. I see. Interesting. So
the only thing that would complete that trifecta is for him to to call him out, and then he goes, "Yeah, I'll face you," and then he goes, "No, I won't face you."
Well, I would say the thing about LaFlame, we love Jack on Sportswire, but Jack's been for years doing this. Everybody challenges him, but LaFlame, he seems to take it on. He seems to enjoy.
LaFlame is hungry. He's very hungry.
I was gonna say. And
he's taken the responsibility of promoting Resurrection Pro significant, like he's taken it on full force, and he's done a tremendous job with it.
Absolutely.
And I would say he's one of the poster boys for Resurrection Pro.
I think
the thing is too, though, is while he might be biting off more than he can chew. I mean, being double booked, having to drive across states, that could play a factor. And me personally, I wouldn't make that move. Not because of, not wanting to. There's always the competitor in me that's like, yeah, bring them all on. But also, too, you got to think, you're a champion. You cannot be doing dumb moves like that. That brings you into the same category as AJ Morgan making stupid ass decisions with a championship. But I would say
it's a further different discussion, because a lot of people right now are almost putting this enormous pressure on him because he's out in covering, or people want him to wrestle everywhere in the yard and the underground. There's only really one man who has felt that pressure, and that's Mr. Delta. But Mr. LaFlame, he's got immense pressure right now on him. TBW, there's a relationship with Resi and TBW. TBW had the greatest backyard underground wrestling show in history, Anniversary 7. He opened it. Maybe it was the greatest opening match in history. He had one of the greatest matches, I would dare say, in the entire state of Massachusetts history tonight with Leonidas. He's got to go up, if he survives Victor Thorne, with D Savage. D Savage right now just won the NEW Underground Heavyweight Championship of the world. D Savage, pound for pound, is one of the toughest guys I've ever seen compete in a backyard, underground, or indie. He's an indie wrestler. He's not a yarder. D Savage is an indie guy. He's going up against him. We've seen what he has to go through with Soldier GP. Let's not even go there and talk about Soldier, the size of Soldier, the force, the strength. I mean, guys in other territories in Indiana and Maryland, they want no piece of him right now. The supposed big fishes in these other territories, they don't want to shoot fire with Soldier. And LaFlame's he's now taking on the guys that legitimately in their mind believe they're the best. And Victor Thorne, I mean, this could be the moment where, he could catch him, and maybe LaFlame's run as this darling, it ends. And on top of that, he's got a tryout for TNA Impact in the NWA, and Victor Thorne could be so motivated here at Endgame that D'Angelo LaFlame, let alone making it to D Savage in Massachusetts, Riot in the Ring round 2, let alone making it to Summer Bash in Bremen, Ohio against Soldier GP, the IMF champion of the world. D'Angelo LaFlame might be real raw energy, but he may miss out on a real opportunity if Victor Thorne has his way at Endgame, and missing out on that real opportunity to try out and being a TNA Impact or a NWA superstar.
And see, that's the thing, too. You said pressure a lot. There's a lot of pressure on D'Angelo LaFlame, and pressure either makes diamonds or dust. And so far, so good for D'Angelo. He's been very impressive. He was the guy who eliminated me in the Gold Rush Rumble. I know we weren't going to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. D'Angelo is a very, star-studded talent. He brings a lot to the table. People love him, and it shows in his work, and he is very dedicated to this. And the fact that at one point there was people talking shit on him about being untrained is mind-boggling to me, because
absolutely laughable.
Because D'Angelo LaFlame is more entertaining in any ring I've ever seen than most people who will sit there and call themselves world champions.
I watched him. I watched him in your show, and oh my goodness, people were jumping up and down. I just watched him in Massachusetts, and in that environment where, there was a lot of questions from those guys, Jake Matthews, Power Surge, Tyson Spade, Leonidas, certainly, Justin Abel Saint, obviously D Savage. Can this guy hang in our environment? And Gabe Sayers was also a part of that locker room, just wrestled Grimm and GTS. And like that locker room, from that attendance, from what I saw, He won them over. They adored him. I mean, TBW. I mean, in TBW, what I saw on Anniversary 7, again, the greatest backyard underground wrestling show in history, and the TBW people, I mean, they go bananas to begin with. But I mean, to me, what he did there reminded me of Delta when Delta showed up there. I know he had been there already, D'Angelo and TBW a bunch of times. He was already there at the start of the season, but this felt different. That's why I think that it's going to be very interesting to see what he does at Endgame coming up here.
Endgame as a whole is going to be very interesting, not just for that match alone. I mean, you got
Hacksaw Brown and CT Matlock. I mean, that's a match where CT Matlock basically was like pedestrian in terms of just did not even want to get into it with Hacksaw Brown. Seth Maverick was here, and Seth Maverick had a lot to say about Tyson Gates, and it's an I Quit match, and Dylan Andrews, your brethren's going to be there. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. You know, he's going up and putting up his championship against Twisted. I mean, you know, this is like, and much more ahead to be announced in the next coming days.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing too, Tom, about an event like Endgame, the year anniversary. You got to pull all the cards out for this one. You got to have the best showing of the company, and I think that there, like we were talking about earlier with pressure, there's a lot of pressure on every individual here to show out. I mean, this is the biggest show we have ever done, the most ambitious thing we have ever done. And, you know, there's, like we were talking about just a second ago, there's a lot of good talent on here. You got CT
Absolutely.
Matlock against Hacksaw Brown. You got Tyson Gates against Seth Maverick. You got Victor Thorne, D'Angelo LaFlame.
CT Matlock was just in the ring with Stephon Dunn. I mean, CT Matlock is a guy that's wrestling in the independents. I mean, Seth Maverick is very impressive with his background. You know, shoot fighter in real life and, you know, rapper on the side. I mean, this guy's a really interesting character. You got some, like, solid talents. You know, no joke. I know we're breaking the fourth wall, but you got some, like, you talked about diamonds. You got some diamonds on this roster, dude.
And that's the thing. Hillbilly Tilly and Sky Felton, they've always kind of had an eye for talent. It was no secret that when Sky Felton first acquired Alliance Wrestling League, he, you know, the first two names he called up was myself and Christopher James. He knew exactly what he needed. And then, yes, you had, you know, the good old, we'll call it a legacy hire of AJ Morgan based off of his relationship with Dylan Andrews. And, you know, we went from a company that was on a blue mat that a lot of people didn't take seriously to now, you know, we don't even have to be talking about anyone else, but there will always be people talking about AWL, myself, or anyone else.
I didn't even mention Travis Hunt was the world champion once upon a time. I didn't even mention him yet. You know, there's a lot of
most people forget that, thanks to me.
Well,
but it's okay.
I'm sure you didn't want me to talk about that, but my point is that you guys really, like, from when you started, have come a long way, and I think it's a credit to Sky Felton. It's a credit to Hillbilly Tilly in that they went out and saw, how do we build a company? How do we go out and build? You know, a lot of yard companies go, yeah, I'm on YouTube, and they put stuff up, and the editing is rough, and you get a couple guys, and it's the same old thing. But you guys didn't do that here. You guys have really put out there a fantastic product, which I want people right now, if you are on YouTube, hit that sub button, Alliance Wrestling. I want everybody to help this company get to 500 subscribers before June 29th. We're about 11 away. So if you're out here right now, hit that sub button for them. I want you to get them to 500. They've gotten to 400, 300. Let's get them to 500, because you know what? When we all work together, we all win. Just like Sportswire Radio. You've been supporting Sportswire Radio like crazy. Almost 6,000 views in the last 30 days alone. But now let's support our friends, those who are out here in our community, people that grew up in our community, people that are a part of it, people who are going up and only onward and upward. The Alliance Wrestling League is doing all of those things. Let's go out there and support them. I got a lot of people that would like to say hello in the remaining time here. Tilly in the ring, Dylan laughed. Yeah, Tilly basically said he's done. Speaking of one of Mr. LaFlame's opponents, D Savage, who's going to be here, by the way. He is going to be here live in 11 days from now. And Mr. LaFlame, you might want to check your schedule that day, because D Savage, he wants to chat with you on air. And we'll even see if D'Angelo LaFlame, like I said, makes it to his match with D Savage, because Victor Thorne, the Bishop of Brutality, is on a warpath, and we'll have to see. But D'Angelo doesn't think that he won't be able to get through the match, but he does appreciate the comments, I suppose. He also wants to say D Savage, real, recognize real, and I'm looking forward to seeing LaFlame in round 2. That's if he makes it after Bishop of Brutality, Victor Thorne finds a way. And also, yep, we thank Zilla. Want to say hello to Trinity. Trinity, who was the ring announcer in XCW. Trinity is one of my favorites in XCW. She's in our Hall of Fame. She's our only woman to have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. It says evening, ladies, lads, and ladies. I'm about to say ladies and ladies. I might be a lady, but I'm not a lady. But speaking of people that want to bow down to you and show respect, speaking of relationships with D'Angelo the Flame, that's my buddy, Mr. Atomic Titan, the Hardcore King, who was actually, I just saw him in the NEW Underground chat when we had Riot in the ring, but he wants to say, what's up, ADT? Congrats on the success. Absolutely. Great job. And D'Angelo did a great job. He's going to do a great job here, just like he did in TBW. Hello to my Hardcore King. And also, hello. But Seth Maverick has something to say to the Anomaly. Maybe we get a Seth Maverick versus ADT rematch down the road. Give the fans something they want to see.
Oh, no. Hey, scroll down to that episode where it was me and him. Let's just see something real quick. I'm
Okay,
curious.
Sure. Let me pull that up.
I'm curious. It's a little bit further down. It was.
Yeah,
it was
I remember
old.
it. Yeah, it's got to be like middle.
Where's
of
it
the
at?
road.
Right there. 417 views.
Oh, 8:30.
No,
8:30. I got the wrong one. I can't read.
Yeah, you back on the last one.
I think I just glanced it. Okay, hang on tight.
Yeah,
I got it.
it's right
see
there.
it. Yeah, I see it. I got to just pull
Yeah,
up the
so
screen.
417. Now look at most of my other matches, Tom. They're all over 1,000.
I know 838,
okay?
1,000.
They're all over 1,000. Do fans really want to see me beat up Seth Maverick again?
What,
I mean, when you look at the most popular videos, what's a constant there? The two
82.
faces that are main eventing Endgame. Myself, I'll even give credit to Christopher James. It's me and Christopher James at the top of every single highest rating show. Do fans really want to see me versus Seth Maverick? No, they don't. I'll answer that one for you. No, because it'd be the exact same thing. I'd beat the shit out of him and
you're
walk
really
out.
saying that Seth Maverick, the people aren't invested in? Is that what you're telling me? That the people are?
I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say that they know it's one of those things. You got to pick and choose your battles. There's a reason he called out, immediately after losing the New Division Championship, he immediately called out Tyson Gates. He did get screwed. I'll give him that. He did get screwed out of his rematch.
Got a couple of times. We watched the footage. I mean, he literally. I mean, you want to talk about hard luck champions? I mean, he has to be at the top of the list. I know D Savage will say he was the hard luck champion in his company, but I mean, he really is a hard luck champion. I really do sympathize with him. But no, I mean,
and that's no discredit to Seth, because Seth's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes as well, as far as doing independent work and making a name for himself outside of AWO, which I can always commend.
He's big on TikTok. He's got the fighting background. He's a rapper. I mean, Seth is a guy. He's on my team. Listen, Seth is a guy. He plays on my team. And yeah, I mean, but you're telling me, though, that from the viewers, though, they're invested in not him right now. Maybe they will be, but not right now.
That's the thing. Everyone loves to see the rise of someone, like how they saw with Seth Maverick. They love to see the rise. They love to see the hardships. They loved seeing him get his ass whooped by me. They loved it. As soon as he got to the New Division title, he lost it in a week. To someone in controversial fashion, but he still lost.
But so would you even say, though, that he won it sort of in wacky fashion, winning it in that gauntlet, coming out last? I mean,
see, that's just the luck of the draw right there. That was when his luck expired. Getting that last entry into that gauntlet match, that was when his luck completely ran out. Because after that,
he's got a prove me match coming up here with Tyson Gates. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. His match is really a prove me match. If he wins in convincing fashion,
it is for both of them if you really think about it, because Tyson Gates
here on the show a couple weeks ago. Absolutely, the winner of
him
that
and
match,
Tyson Gates, they're kind of on a level playing field here now without that title.
Say, you know what? And a credit to Victor Thorne. If Victor Thorne beats, before we move into a few final thoughts, but, if Victor Thorne goes out there and beats D'Angelo the Flame, I mean, he's going up against now, like, heavy hitters. He's moved up in the world. Like, 6 months ago, right? I had him on Sportswire about 7 months ago the first time. And, people knew him. They knew a little bit of him. He certainly, had some success. But now, everybody knows him. But if Victor Thorne goes out and beats D'Angelo the Flame, What a notch is that on for his resume? Because doesn't that put him automatically in the discussion for almost any championship he wants in NEW if he beats D'Angelo LaFlame? I mean, don't you think that's a huge win on his resume? Should he beat him at Endgame?
I mean, of course, the way that D'Angelo LaFlame has managed to turn himself, from it's like how we were just talking about. Everyone loves to see the rise. Everyone likes to see the fall as well. But the thing is with D'Angelo LaFlame, he has turned himself into a household name organically too. And he has been doing it with grace and, class and stuff that I can really admire as a performer and a human being.
Absolutely.
That being said, though, we've been talking about how, this entire time, Victor Thorne's been on a warpath. He's been going through, people like Morgan, Hacksaw, Travis Hunt,
Callback. Well, CT Matlock now, but he was Callback. Yeah.
Yeah, CT Matlock. And, point being is Victor Thorne's been on a path too. Don't think that just, one loss is going to immediately turn the fucking Bishop of Brutality into a nobody. It's not. It's, wipe that one off. Sorry, it wasn't there that day, and business as usual. I think that as far as a card goes and as a whole, I don't think there's been a more well-balanced card. Everyone is on level playing field here.
Yeah,
and
I think that
obviously the stakes get raised higher up on the card.
Absolutely. I mean, you have some matches that stand out. Yours and Christopher James, the main event. Dylan Andrews and Twisted absolutely is going to be an interesting match. We spoke about Maverick and Gates. We've got Matlock and Hacksaw Brown. We've got LaFlame and Thorne. I mean, there's just, more ahead, which is why you can go to the Alliance Wrestling League YouTube page. Let me get to a few more comments before I get to a few other things. Riot in the Ring was very fun to watch. Absolutely could not have agreed more. It was a lot of fun, and we're so thankful that the AWL and Resurrection Wrestling were a part of that. And I want to thank, again, Sky Felton and Hillbilly Tilly for their coming together with Ronnie Brady and Joseph Tibbs. That's what it's about, making a difference, doing things the right way for the people. And the people won, just like, we saw D'Angelo LaFlame work with Joseph Tibbs and Ronnie Brady alongside Jake Matthews and Justin Abel Sane to give the people what they want. And that's what all wrestling matters is about. And the likes of Hillbilly Tilly, Sky Felton, D'Angelo LaFlame, Joseph Tibbs, Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid, and Jake Matthews, the best on the card, and Justin Abel Sane, the Cambodian Warrior. These are the people that are going out there, and they made things happen, and let's support those people. And Shane Davidson, you definitely are on my team. I will be on the air in probably another hour or so. I'm going to finish here in about 10 more minutes with Mr. ADT. He's a very busy man, but we want to get a few more thoughts with him. Want to say hello to Mr. Darkron, my very good buddy in the great state of Ohio, in Bremen, Ohio, because Summer Bash is coming up in 3 weeks, and he would like to say hello, and I love to say hello to Darkron. Everybody, please give him a round of applause. He is doing a great job out there. He is representing the whole community with a wonderful event out there in his compound, and we'll be talking about that, I have no doubt, soon. And please support Darkron. And Mr. Tight would like to face LaFlame. Well, he's got his own problems with Joshua Allen, so I don't know how that's going to go about. But, I'm not even going to go there because Mr. Allen will come up and we'll see. Here we go, like a helium balloon. Mr. Maverick likes to say he's 2-0 against Victor Thorne and 1-0 in AWL, 1-0 in Spartan Pro Wrestling. Interesting.
I mean, are we really counting the gauntlet match as a win here against Victor Thorne?
Yes.
Are we really counting that one as a win over Victor Thorne?
But I was going to make
he misspelled his name. It's with a K, motherfucker. I'll point that out. I'll point that out.
I didn't realize it too, but he probably just saw Seth Maverick's post. So I leave the Hardcore King alone. But the point is that it's a different Victor Thorne from a few months ago. So I would like to say it's
absolutely. I mean, hell, look at the way that Victor Thorne showed up on the scene wearing fucking jogging pants and a tank top, looking like he was homeless. We thought he was just another crackhead that walked in.
Singlet, he looks like
now he's full force professional. I mean,
he looks like another Goldberg, another Ryback, another Warrior, another guy just going to go out there and tear people to a lemon. It's a K, not a C, but that's okay. I'll let Mr. Maverick have a
K.
Class. Yeah, that's what I put down. They're not related. No, they're definitely not related. Definitely not related. Hard Twins Wrestling. How you doing, Hard Twins Wrestling? I hope to say hello. I want to say hello to Anthony Steele. How you doing, Anthony? And also the real TNT. I want to get to some relevant comments that I'm pulling. Okay, LaFlame and Titan going back and forth. Oops, my bad. He apologized with the spell. You see what I told you? He didn't know. That's why I'm giving my hardcore king a pass, because I know my hardcore king. He's a busy man. If I win Titan, I want you to call me an internet icon. Sounds good. Okay, let's come to a couple of things here before closing thoughts. First of all, give me your final words to Christopher James ahead of the last man standing match at Endgame 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Good luck. I mean, like, being completely honest, I said I started a training camp for this. I've lost collectively 11 pounds so far, and I know my cardio is going up, man. And if you thought I was dangerous before, Jesus fucking Christ, you have another thing coming. And I hope that from what I've been seeing as far as clips goes, clips circulating of you working these independent shows, working with people like Johnny Swinger, having people like Tommy Dreamer call your name specifically, I hope that that's a reflection of what I see in 2 weeks' time. Christopher James is always a constant in my life, like I've said earlier, as he's a constant pain in my side. This matchup is something that means a lot to the fans, but also a lot to me, because I've said it once and I've said it before. You know, Christopher James just doesn't want me to have one thing that I'm truly better at than him, and that is pro wrestling. I mean, this goes back way before we even started wrestling. You know, he was always a better student than me. He was always a better athlete than me. You know, we played on the same football team. You know, we grew up together, and that's just the thing right there. It's personal on a level that can't even be explained throughout, you know, the week-to-week show. On this show in an hour, you know, we need a lot more time to dig deep into all the history that me and Christopher James had. There's respect there, and that's something that I don't have with a lot of my opponents, and that's normally what causes a lot of downside to stuff is, you know, if you have respect for him, how far are you willing to go? I have enough respect to him that I'm going to give him the best ADT that he's ever seen, and I hope that he has the same respect for me. And I hope in 2 weeks' time when I walk out there in the 300 Arena in the Gadsden Mall for Endgame, main event, last man standing match, I pray that Christopher James is on his A game, because if he gives me anything else other than 110% that day, he's losing, Tom. He's losing. And that's how this plays out.
Well, we're going to certainly find out. And a couple of other things of note. Atomic Titan says he'd like to face you sometime in caps lock. So that would be a matter of Sky Felton, Hillbilly Tilly, and Joshua Allen. I don't know if Joshua Allen's granting Atomic Titan a match of any sort. So I would say that, you know.
Well, if Josh Allen wants to see someone beat the shit out of him, he knows the guy to call.
Maybe he does want that. Maybe he would want that then, actually.
But I do know that me and Josh had a rocky relationship starting out in like early 2017, but that's a lot of deleted tweets later.
Well, you know what? I mean, listen, Mr. Titan yesterday on TBW Rampage 163, for whatever reason, called out Omen Black and Soldier GP. So, that's I don't know.
Steep challenge right there.
That's a good question. Anthony had a funny joke about joggers. I think he was just being facetious.
I don't know. All right, so I'll talk about it. I have no problem with it. It's not a sense of there has to be some sort of effort given there. You know what I mean? Especially if you're wrestling in front of a crowd, to see someone come out looking like any fucking ordinary Joe.
Jimmy Hart would have a theory you had to look a certain, but then Cena was out short.
Like I'm not wearing a singlet, but obviously I should because I have a lot of belly fat. But the point here is it's about being professional. Now in the yard, there's a little bit of leeway right there. There's not as much money being invested into the company 90% of the time, and 9 times out of 10 they're using replica titles as world titles, which it's fine. We've all been there, right? But when you start making that transition, like how Sky Felton and, Hillbilly Tilly has, into making this a professional promotion, trying to make it an independent promotion, and it's new, it's young, it's fresh, people are really taking a liking to it, especially here locally. Sure. You have to play the part right. When I say I'm a professional wrestler, it's not just because I want to call myself that for shits and giggles. There's been dues paid. I've been in an arena with people. I've been in a ring. I have done everything that checks all these boxes. I've practiced my ass off. and I've been putting in the work. And that's why I've also started, training the way that I have, because it feels disrespectful to the fans and also a little bit to myself and anyone else who wants to go into the ring and call themselves a professional wrestler. Everyone wants to be at the top of their game. Everyone does. Now, some people, there's certain levels to it. Like your greatness might only be this high and someone else's might be this high. There's always levels to it.
Sure.
So
Totally.
when it comes to attires, though, to get back on what I was going on, it's good to look the part. I'm not saying go out there and make your own custom shit, but like hell, the first time me and Christopher James faced off in a high stakes match, I walked out with a shirt with his face fucking on it and a bullseye. So,
look,
and that was in the yard.
At the end of the day, it's whatever floats your boat, I suppose. But if you'd like to buy some merchandise, that is the AWL.
They got nice phone cases too.
We got some great merchandise, some great stuff, almost everything for anybody. It's
They got pillows.
It's Father's Day weekend coming up. You want some gifts for Dad? You want to get him a wrestling shirt of your choice? You got a whole list of great people here to choose from and more. And that's what we want to do, support those that are in the community. And also, Atomic Titan would like to say he wouldn't be surprised if, for whatever reason, Josh did call you to take him out because he can't do it himself.
Fair enough.
And then D Savage goes back and forth. Okay, let me ask you then one more question. I want to ask this in a different way because we talked a lot about Christopher James. We talked about a lot of things about the company, but what does the relationship with Spartan Wrestling mean to you as a whole?
So that's a very good opportunity, honestly. I mean, there has been a lot of stuff to take from trips to Spartan, being booked at Spartan. The way that Sky Felton and Hillbilly Tilly have really managed to make this a very nice working relationship with Spartan Pro Wrestling, it means a lot to me because it grants everyone else on, not only myself, I'm not looking at it selfish. It's a very big opportunity for everyone involved. The whole slogan here is, after Gold Rush, we all got invited to start being on their show more often. It was a good eye-opening experience for both parties. It was good for our part to show us, hey, look, all the hard work is paying off. People do like us. People want to see us. People are willing to take time out of their day to show up to an AWL event, but also at the same time to get, because like I said earlier, me and Christopher James, we had a match that was, untaped in Spartan not too long ago, and the locker room's very kind and very cordial with us. One of the things that is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Makes people hesitant to make that jump up to the professional indie level, or being a professional wrestler, especially when they come from a background like mine and Christopher James, where we're home trained, we're yarders. A lot of them can either be very hateful, as I've heard with some other people's experiences.
Oh, we hear the stories all the time here on this platform. Absolutely.
And the thing is Spartan has welcomed us with open arms, giving us opportunity after opportunity to use their resources and, be on their card, promote AWL in a way that's more than, what we already do to promote it. I mean, it was a sanctioned match for the AWL Heavyweight Championship. It was a good, fun, experience there. And, all in all, Spartan Pro Wrestling, I'm glad that the doors got open at the time they did. I'm a person who believes that sometimes you just got to be at the right place, the right time, and everything. And I think another thing, not to toot my own horn, but to kind of pull the curtain back, we already had a handful of guys that were already working Spartan that were working AWL. And I stopped by to watch a show. Yep. I stopped by to watch a show just because I wanted to see what they brought. And also, too, it's nice to watch, some of the local stuff. Always support the local independent shows whenever you got a chance. It's Absolutely. Good for the community, and it's good for the people that are chasing their dreams. I showed up there, met the owner, shook his hand, and first impressions are everything. And I'm a person that's no stranger to making a good damn first impression. And then shortly after the meeting with the owner, Hillbilly Tilly and Sky Felton got the call, hey, do y'all ever want to run a show here? And they go, as a matter of fact, yes, we do. And thank God our ring was behind on getting delivered here, because God almighty, I don't think Gold Rush would have been the same show if it wasn't at the 300 Arena. It was a perfect storm. We had all the people there. We had all support behind us. Here, being behind the curtain, moments before my music played, and hearing the crowd chanting AWL, it was a warm, fuzzy feeling.
And that was the show D'Angelo LaFlame came and surprised everybody. That was the first show, if you think about it, that was like turned him into this traveling sensation. You guys, in a lot of ways, deserve a lot of praise for that. That was all Spartan Arena, 300 Arena, Spartan Wrestling, and that opportunity since he's gone and now opened up 2 more doors for him. And back in TBW, Anniversary 7, greatest backyard underground wrestling show in history. You guys did that. Right place at right time. Perfect storm.
I would say, though, that to boil it down, to like simplify it, I think my relationship with Spartan, and I would say the roster as a whole, is just grateful for the opportunities that Spartan Pro Wrestling presents to us. I know for sure that Hillbilly Tilly and Sky Felton are appreciative of the fact that they're willing to allow us to come into their home, run shows, set up our entire stage, do all that stuff. Like it's not Spartan Pro Wrestling presents AWL when we go there. It's AWL Wrestling. And that means a lot to me. And I know for sure that it means a hell of a lot to the guys in the back. Not to get like too soft or mushy, because people are expecting me to be a dickhead here and start roasting people left and right.
The interview.
But honestly, though, Spartan Pro Wrestling does mean a lot to me. I'm always grateful for the experiences I get there. As far as I learn a lot of shit. Locker room etiquette. You got to go up to everyone, shake their hand, be open to. And that's the other thing I love about pro wrestling, man. There's so many people with so many different stuff in their past. They're the way that they were growing up and stuff. But like, God, man, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long the show is, the only thing we give a fuck about is wrestling. And that's what I love about it. So Spartan Pro Wrestling, I'm very grateful for all the opportunities they have presented to me, especially to keep waving the flag high for AWL. I appreciate everything they do, and I could not be more happy in the way that the relationship is going and will continue to go, I'm sure.
Absolutely, no question about that. And again, want to obviously say what a locker room you guys have. You guys are all first-class people. I speak to a lot of guys in the locker room, and you guys are really conducting yourself in the right way. I know Hillbilly Tilly speaks to me all the time and says how proud he is of this company, how proud he is to represent it, and how proud of the relationship with Spartan. That's what it's about. Good people coming together to bring good results, and AWL has done that. I think you look at the professional setting, you look at the ring, you look at the people that we have. These are things that are all about all wrestling matters. These are things as to why you want to support the Alliance Wrestling League, and I cannot stress enough about the importance of supporting those that support us. AWL is always supporting, sharing our links, liking our post. That's really what it's about. Support those that support us. When they win, we win, and we want to make sure everybody supports ADT and the Alliance Wrestling. We cannot wait coming up here for Endgame. It's going to be 2 weeks from tomorrow. I cannot stress enough. In the main event for that AWL World Heavyweight Championship, it's going to be in a last man standing match. The Kingpin ADT goes up against Christopher James. It's going to be a loaded, action-packed show. It's free. It's free. Get this, ladies and gentlemen, free. You don't have to worry about paying. You don't have to worry about whatever it is. It's free. And the doors open at 12:30. So it means you can go to the mall, have a nice time, enjoy yourself, watch the show, maybe go back and do some shopping, go spend time with the family. It's going to be a beautiful weekend out there, so go spend it with watching some beautiful wrestling coming up, led from the Alliance Wrestling League and Spartan Wrestling. Cannot thank them enough for all of their support. I also want to say hello to our very good friend over in Tennessee, Mr. Ref Carter. Ref, good to see you. He's the best ref in the business. This man looks like he could probably do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups while still calling a match and giving the 1, 2, 3. It's always good to see our brother in the great state of Tennessee, and also our resident landlord here of Sportzwire Radio, Mr. Mac 10 of Resurrection Wrestling, the Deathmatch Werewolf, likes to poke fun at me for not paying the rent. It's always good to see Mackie Boy. And yeah, well, he's got Jimmy Controversy and Kato to worry about, so he's just basically trying to put some of that heat on me, but that's okay. Mackie can do whatever he wants to me. That's okay. We love Mackie Boy and love Mac 10, by the way. Spartan Pro Wrestling is such a classic. That's what it's about. Good people coming together. We look at the relationship that TBW and Resurrection. We look at the relationship with AWL and Resurrection. We look at the relationship with Resurrection and NEW Wrestling. We look at Summer Bash, where so many great talents are going to be there. We look at all these people coming together. Open collaboration. That's what it's about. People coming together and doing things for all wrestling matters. And that's what you're getting. You're seeing that every week on this platform. Every day, people talk about different things that somebody said. But the facts is that what 70 to 80% of what this platform really is showcasing those that care, those that go out there and put their blood, sweat, and tears out there. As Hillbilly Tilly famously said, for the love of wrestling. True wrestlers do it for the love of wrestling. ADT, Christopher James, everybody here in this chat, everybody here in this platform, at the end of the day, is doing it for the same reasons. And that's why every day that I'm on this platform, I try, despite what you may or may not hear, I try to make it my mission, my moments, every time to celebrate and recognize those that are in the yard, the underground, the indies, and everywhere else in between a bag of chips, as my old friend downtown Julie Brown used to say. So at the end of the day, this is what it's about. Good people coming together. And obviously, yeah, Ref Carter does not need AI for that physique. Even Titan agreed with that. And it's all wrestling matters. And to me, that's what it's about. And every day, I want to say one more thing before I get to closing thoughts. I would cut my arms off. I would literally cut my arms off, and I would give the shirt off my back for somebody here on this platform. And if it's a yarder, somebody or anybody else that comes here, if somebody needs help, somebody wants a shirt bought, somebody wants to share, whatever it might be, I'm here. Despite the moments that you might say we're famous for or not famous for, at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for the politics. I'm not here for who's winning, who's losing. I'm here to celebrate people like this man, ADT. I'm here to celebrate people like D'Angelo the Flame. I'm here to celebrate you, the people who've made this the church of all wrestling matters. And God bless all of you wrestlers for going out there. And if you want my arms, CJ Black, there certainly, I know, might have a lot of green in them, meaning for loot. And hopefully you will get maybe half of those arms. So I'll give you a percentage of my net worth. So hopefully in my will, CJ Black, after I cut my arms off, give you the shirt off my back and everybody else on Sportswire, all the wrestlers, I can assure you maybe you'll get a percentage of my will. But ADT, I know you're a busy man. I'm going to be back on here in about 45 minutes. I want to give you the floor, my friend. I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you'd like to plug, share, or say? And I turn it over to you, and I pass the baton now.
First things first, if you want any Alliance Wrestling League merchandise, Tom pulled it up earlier. It's on TeePublic. Make sure that if you are going to watch in-game in person, rep that gear, guys. It would be amazing to see an entire crowd filled with Kingpin shirts. It would be absolutely amazing. Don't buy Seth Maverick shirt in case you unless if you want toilet paper, here you go. Hacksaw Brown, Seth Maverick, Tyson Gates, AJ Morgan. Those right there, that'll get you through a month at least. And they're washing machine safe as well, so you can reuse it too.
I'll let my nieces know, because every time my brother's wife is always asking me for toilet paper, because they know that I can easily buy toilet paper because I'm a rich man, as many people would say. I'll let them know that the toilet paper will be on the way from TeePublic. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, you just got to look a little lower on the page there. But in all seriousness, Endgame is a very big show. It is the 1-year anniversary of Alliance Wrestling League. We have come very far from the time of being on a blue mat and a roster of 4 to a now ever expanding roster. I know a lot of people are pissed off that, we don't do as much outside collaborations. That's something completely out of my market, man.
I disagree with that. I think you have done it. I disagree. No, I'm gonna say.
But that's the thing too, though. Real quick, not to cut you off, but that's the other thing too. Some people, what Tilly and Felton have given them. Sometimes, you give them something and they want more, but they're very smart in the way that they run this business.
I think the relationship with ROEW. You've gone there, they've come here. I think with D'Angelo coming back, I think that you have done it.
Some people will get very upset with the fact that, we don't reach out a lot more. And like I said, that's Sky Felton and Hillbilly Tilly's forte
I
right
can
there.
tell you, Hillbilly Tilly messages me every day. I can tell you, I will go out of my way because anybody will know. I will call out those that I don't think are a part of it. But AWL is a part of it because Hillbilly Tilly, he messages me regularly. You have guys in your roster to break the fourth wall that do message me, that do talk to me. I know when companies aren't on the team and companies are on the team. AWL is on my team. So I'm going to tell you that even though people may disagree with that, I know I'm the judge. And nobody tells me. I can tell you that you guys have played ball. And I can tell you that your roster and Hillbilly Tilly messages me very regularly. And I will definitely stick up for anybody in AWL. So you rest assured, I got your back.
And to continue on what I was getting at, AWL Endgame year anniversary, starting from a blue mat with 4 people to a well-developed roster, well-developed characters. You're going to see a lot of moments that I don't think you would get if we didn't have the situation that we were having at the time. Like I said, timing is everything. And I could not think of a better way to end year one with a show like this. I'm always beyond grateful to be a part of a show like this as well. Endgame it means the world to me. It's the first real big event that I've been a part of. Sooner or later, you're gonna have to start calling me Mr. Anniversary because I've been on ROEW's anniversary show, AWL's. There might have been an opportunity for me to be on TVW's anniversary that I kind of went by the wayside, but that's between the guys who booked them and guys who booked me. There was a shot though, Tom. I will tell you that there was a shot. There was a very good shot. The messages are in my phone as well. But
he mentioned Omen and Soldier last night, so I'm sure,
and I mean, to not take away from what I was getting on right there, but all love to TBW, even though I fuck with them constantly. That's kind of my thing. If people haven't gathered that in the hour and a half we've been going, but AWL Endgame live free show starts at doors open at 12:30. Show starts at 1. Gadsden Mall for anyone who's local, and trying to think of geography here, in the northern part of Alabama. But it's going to be a good show. We got 5 matches planned, 3 championship titles being defended, most important ones going up at main event, of course. And it's going to be a very good show. I mean, I don't think, as far as my expectation goes, I was thinking that Gold Rush was going to be, I thought that no one was going to show up. When I walked out, you can literally see me mouth, what the fuck is this? Because I just saw everyone. Like, I saw people that I grew up with. I saw people that, were doubters at one point, watching this all come to fruition right in front of their very eyes. And, them taking time out of their day to watch me do what I love. So that's always a good thing. But for real, though, AWL Endgame, I don't know. I think, Tom, from what Felton was saying in our little production meetings, as I call it, the show won't actually be up to watch until the following week because it has to get taped and edited and all that other stuff. But for the people who want to see it beforehand, make your way to the Gadsden Mall. You can watch it there. It would be amazing.
Maybe he'll show up and watch it. Who knows?
There's a good time too. It's coming up in 2 weeks' time. And Endgame, what Endgame means to me though is like that. This is something that I can look on for years and years to come and just go, all right, all that hard work, all the times, whether I was in HCW, ZTW, the AWN, anything that Tilly ever done, like persevering and with the right leadership in play, this paid off tenfold. And, I never would have thought a year ago that, we'd be doing a year anniversary show and, I'd be walking into it, the AWL heavyweight champion. To be honest with you, like, I've been dealing with injuries before the Storm match that led to after the Storm match to where, I had to do some stuff behind the scenes to get healthy to where I could get this title again. And, there's always hardships in my life outside of wrestling. So just to see that for, the 2 hours, give or take, that we'll be doing AWL Endgame, I will just get to be ADT for that time. means the world to me. So if y'all like what y'all saw, support us like Tom has up there. He has our YouTube channel. It'd be amazing to hit 500 subscribers before Endgame. T Public for our merchandise. You can find it in almost any of our social media. There's a link tree for all of them, so you can follow us on that. Also, too, though, because I've been noticing every time that I do this, I haven't actually given you credit. Follow Tom Bryce on everything.
I
Everything.
appreciate that.
This man has built a community around, just making sure that people can share their love for professional wrestling. Jesus Christ, that was a tongue twister there. I had a stroke.
Trust me, I've been there the whole week. Don't worry.
Yeah, no,
it.
I'm not used to talking this much here recently. I've been a quiet guy.
No, listen, I gotta be honest. The last like month and a half on Sportswire, I feel bad because we do a sports show Friday nights, and it's like I don't know if these guys are gonna come on because people are just eating wrestling. It's hard because I have guys that want to talk baseball, but this platform is just on fire right now because people really are like. They want wrestling, and it's like the platform is really like it's honestly like it's just it's like emotional. People message me. I don't even know right now. I have people that message me randomly. I don't even know them. Like I watched you on Sportswire. I just want to say thank you. I had a guy message me today. I've been watching back. I wrestled in the backyard. I just want to say thank you. I was in tears one of these shows the other day. I had one wrestler tell me, I said a few things on a show. I think it was Sunday or Monday. And he was like, I just want to say how much I believe in you. It's really the last month and a half, like, we're getting great numbers. I mean, a lot of people really want to be here. They really they're hungry. They want something they haven't had before. People get the same old podcast, the same old wankers that ask them about WWE, and they don't really take time to put it out there and watch and cover. And I think that's why you've seen Sportswire where I can't even get off the show. It's people are just like, they want and want. And, right now we have 34 people out there watching, like 15 or 16 on YouTube. It was like, people are just like, they want something and they never had it before. And you guys are a part of that. And everybody else that's a part of it. And I think that's why, this is where it is really. And you guys are a part of it. Everybody out there listening and all the wrestlers out there. So I appreciate that. But it's never about me. It's about you, the people, you, the wrestlers out there, the companies you represent. And I'm just playing a part, but you are the guys and gals that are going out there and making that difference. And I'm just appreciative that you continue to want to tune in, you want to listen, and I'll do as much as I can to continue to give the people what they want. And, the numbers show that. Like I said, I have a sports show Fridays, and I feel bad. I don't even know if I can do it because these guys, unfortunately, they're great. I love them dearly, but people want wrestling right now. They don't want to hear new Major League Baseball. I feel bad. I don't know what to do, but different conversation. It's tough because I have an internet radio station. I have podcasters and they're hungry for the time, but right now people, they want wrestling. They really, really want this. And I'm going to be back on the air in about, 35 or 40 minutes from now, but support the Alliance Wrestling, support this man ADT. I can't say enough that they have done a great job. This company, only one man's opinion means something. If you really believe in me, believe in these guys because they are doing a great job. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Hit that sub button for them. Go watch Endgame. Go support them. Go buy a shirt. Do something to support them. Thank you so much for all you do for this sport. Thank you for all you do for this community. I love you dearly. Thank you for your friendship over the past year. Thank you for believing in this platform. I can't wait to watch the match. I can't thank enough your roster for their support, and especially Hillbilly Tilly. And I can't wait to see you maybe next month back on Sportswire. We'll talk about more of this. How about that?
We'll see. Sounds like a plan.
I like that, and that's Mr. ADT. He is the kingpin. He is the reigning defending AWL champion of the world. He'll be in action coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow at Endgame, the Alliance Wrestling League's one-year anniversary show. You can go to the Alliance Wrestling League's Instagram, YouTube page, TikTok, Facebook, X, T Public for more information. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, all wrestling matters. I'll be back here at about 10:45. We'll open it up. We'll talk some wrestling. Some guys will be on here. We'll see how it goes. You, the listener, wants to come back and you want to hear us talk wrestling, we'll talk wrestling. If you get bored, I'll go back to baseball. But until then, thank you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'll see everybody in a little while. Please support the Alliance Wrestling League and Endgame. They are killing it. And thank you to Hillbilly Tilly and Sky Felton for your support as well. And I'll see everybody in a little bit.